Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Hello everyone, it is a beautiful Tuesday here in Austin, Texas, and we are going to have a good discussion today, guys. I am joined today by the Dark Knight himself, Mr. Jaime Medina.
How's it going?
Alright guys, so I brought Jaime in because we are talking Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's right, the Arrowverse 5-part crossover finished its conclusion last week. So now we're going to sit down, discuss, talk Crisis on Infinite Earths, and possible future of the Arrowverse going forward. So Jaime, you ready to dig into this?
Let's go for it.
Alright guys, so of course, as you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths, based on a popular DC Comics storyline. They've been teasing it for over a year now, ever since Elseworlds last year in the Arrowverse. So we've been kind of looking forward to this, building up for it. Jaime, just general thoughts. What'd you think, Crisis on Infinite Earths?
It was good. I don't like the long break between the last two episodes.
I was going to ask you about that, if you like that.
I mean, overall, it was a good scenario. The way they brought all the characters together. Towards the end, it kind of seemed like they were trying to jumble everybody together.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like they were just trying to finish it off. They weren't trying to elaborate on what was going on. So
yeah,
everybody's lines were real short and just kind of basic. So there was really no other than the main characters.
Well, he had so many people to deal with too. Exactly. Yeah. To me, it was obviously my favorite crossover is still Crisis on Infinite, Crisis of Earth X.
Mm-hmm.
Is still my favorite Arrowverse crossover. Elseworld was okay. I didn't like the way the last episode or so was. This one, I didn't like the first part of it, but when they came back from the break, I think I enjoyed those episodes more, mainly because I liked the final result, which was they brought everything together.
Yeah.
And what I was hoping they would do that, much like they did in the comic books, where it took all these multiple Earths and put them together as one, less colluded. It just made things easier, which I thought was great. Again, with you, same thing. I don't like the way they spread it out, though. Because I told you last night I'd go back and rewatch those first 3 episodes because I couldn't really remember the little things that happened in them because it had been over a month since I'd seen it. I think the main part of this is all the cameos, right? All the cameos is kind of what this whole thing was about, which is what a lot of people have complained about, is you had all these announcements about all these DC actors that have been in former DC stuff, and a lot of them didn't get a lot of screen time. So before we dig into, I think, the meat of the storyline and talk about the ending a little bit, I want to talk about the cameos. So let's kind of start off with it. At the very beginning, the very first episode, you had little touches of while they were doing the opening monologue of all the different Earths that they had. You saw Alexander Knox from the Michael Keaton Batman movies, which was very interesting. You saw Hawk and Robin, or Jason Todd, from Earth 9, which is where the Titans are from. And then you also saw a little bit of the Ray from Earth X, which of course featured on Crisis on Earth X with that. The first time, probably, you don't get to a big cameo for a while. You got Dick Grayson, Burt Ward from Earth 66, obviously named after Batman 66 with that. Will Wheaton had a cameo as, a guy saying the world is going to end, which is a reference to Superman 2. This one I liked. Now, I'm on Screen Rant, and they have a whole list of all the cameos. This one, Leonard Snart, was the voice of, what's the Legends ship's name?
I can't remember.
What is it? Wave Rider, that's what it is. Wave Rider, yeah. So he was the voice of Earth 74's Wave Rider, which I thought was cool because you had a different Mick as well. Like, they went over there to get the Wave Rider, so they'd all have a ship, and it was Mick, but it was a different Mick who seemed to be very good with babies, obviously, with Jonathan Kent, the way he talked to him. So the first big one, though, we got was Bruce Wayne, played by legendary voice actor Kevin Conroy, Earth 99. Give me your thoughts on this. Being the Batman fan, give me your thoughts on Batman.
Truthfully, I loved it. I mean, growing up as a kid, everybody knows who Kevin Conroy is from animated series Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know that voice. And actually having that voice and that person play Batman on a big screen made my childhood come to life. Like, that was, to me, that was amazing. I feel like they could have carried it off a little bit more, but with the short stuff that he did, I think he did an awesome job.
I gotta say, I kind of feel the opposite. No disservice to him, and the legendary Batman voice actor himself. There's a reason I don't think he's in a live action actor too much. He felt, I think, maybe a little stiff in the performance. The voice kept bringing me back though. Every time he talked, I was like, "It's Batman! It's Batman! It's Batman!"
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole purpose of having him in there.
The performance was a little stiff, but to be honest, that might be because he was playing opposite, what's her name, Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
Which I'm still not sold on her, on the whole Batwoman. But then again, like I said, I've only watched the first episode. What did you think as far as Ruby Rose as Batwoman? I know you're caught up on the series, right?
Yes.
So, okay, what did you think of her in this crossover? But also, again, Batwoman in general, because I'm not a fan, but I haven't seen it. So, what do you think about her so far and her involvement with this crossover?
Truthfully, I wasn't impressed by it. I mean, there really wasn't too much for her to do other than talk to Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, there really wasn't too much of her fighting. There wasn't too much of her putting her input into anything.
It was funny when they were trying to fight the demons or whatever,
Yeah.
like watching the superpowered people trying to fight the demons. I'm like, oh, you're throwing a punch. Oh, that'll get him. Yeah, that's great.
So, I mean, to me, it was just kind of a little bit, I guess you could say, lame.
Yeah.
I mean, there really wasn't anything
like I said,
good
to
for
me,
it.
like, again, I only watched the first episode of Batwoman, and then I skipped to this, okay? And even in this, her acting and her character does not impress me at all.
No.
Am I just missing something here, or is it just not that great?
Truthfully, her acting isn't that good. I mean, obviously, in the big movie thrillers that she's been in, John Wick, that movie was awesome, but at the same time, she did sign language. She didn't actually speak.
She wasn't the star of it either,
Exactly. But with this particular show, she's doing okay, but she hasn't fully empowered the Batwoman theme. Because if you pay attention to this show compared to how Batwoman was in Bloodline, the animated movie, it's completely opposite. You don't see any of that person that you want to see.
Okay, I get you. And that's the thing too, is like watching that first episode, I was, it was compared to say the other Arrowverse episodes. Yeah, Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, what's her name, Melissa Boyce, they weren't phenomenal those first episodes, but I got it. They pulled me in at least a little bit because of what they brought to the character, how well they did and their charm, I guess. And this actress, Ruby Rose, again, I've only seen one episode, it just turns me off. Nothing about Ruby Rose's performance, even from that first episode to even this crossover, makes me still want to watch Batwoman.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do it for me in any way. So okay, so this is a big one for me. Tom Welling and Erica Durance came back and played Clark Kent and Lois Lane for Earth 167. I love Smallville. It was, I watched it religiously for 10 years, even after the last couple of years when it turned to total crap. So I was excited when they say they were bringing these two back. But again, it's kind of a wasted cameo in my eyes. You learn a little bit about, their lives, I guess. I mean, if this is, the Smallville universe, you learn that he gave up his powers pretty much to have a family. They've got 2 girls, and Lex shows up and wants to kill all the multiverse Supermans, but he's like, we don't have powers, so it's pretty much not worth it. So he just leaves, and then Lois and Clark walk back into the house to see their girls. What'd you think of this one, man?
I loved it. I mean, it was. I wish like you said, I wish the cameos were longer, but I mean, seeing Tom Welling play Clark Kent again was amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, once again, we grew up on Smallville. I loved his performance in Smallville. Coming into seeing this, I mean, it was just a whole nother perspective on bringing the different people together.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, again, I wish there could have been more for them, but you kind of figure that when they were talking about all the people they're going to put in there, on top of all the main characters you have already, you knew it wasn't, going to be huge. But I mean, I was hoping for more. I was hoping again for him to put on the suit and be Superman and have like the three Supermen standing next to each other, which I'll talk about Superman here in just a sec as well. That would have been cool. But then again, that's not what Smallville was about. I mean, the whole theme of this show was no flights, no tights. So thinking he might put on the Superman suit might be a little more than what we should have gotten. But we got something at least, so we'll give him that. Okay, so the big Superman, though, I think in the whole story was Brandon Routh, who plays Ray Palmer in the Arrowverse, doing dual roles and playing a version of a Kingdom Come Superman on Earth 96. This one, I think, was a big one, and honestly, this reminded me of what Superman should be. Tyler, what's his name? Hoechlin, who plays Superman. First off, I mean, I have a lot of frustration, not with the actor, but how Superman is treated in the Arrowverse. Mainly because I know Supergirl's the one with the show. She's the main one. So you got to make her look good by basically dogging on Superman, which pisses me off. But also, just in this crossover alone, when you look at Hoechlin's Superman, he's so much in the background, so much just going along with everything. I'm like, no, that's not Superman. He should be out front taking charge, not in the background, just be like, hey guys, what do you want to do? Okay, that's cool, I'll do that. Yeah, great. That pissed me off. But this Superman comes in. First off, when I rewatched it last night too, you could hear the John Williams score a little bit. They were definitely paying homage to what Ralph did in Superman Returns, but also the previous Christopher Reeve Superman films with that whole vibe. He had the Kingdom Come Superman outfit on with that, and I thought he did great. So what'd you think?
I loved it. I loved how he, everything came about with Brandon. I mean, obviously in Superman Returns, he did an awesome job there. Coming here, him playing dual roles, I was mostly looking forward to seeing how he would actually be Superman in this one, and the way that he carried it on. I mean, I don't think anybody else could have did better.
Yeah, it's funny. There was I forget who said it when they get him back to the Wave Rider. Someone looks at this one, Chris Clark, and they're like, "Oh, Ray, you've buffed up." And then they look like, "Oh, wait, that's not Ray." It was hilarious for that. But also, one thing I enjoyed was the silliness of Lex has the Book of Destiny and he controls Superman, and then the part where they try to get him back under control. I thought that was a little silly, but you did get, I think, for TV, a decent Superman fight. Yeah. Like where they were flying around and, fighting each other. That's a pretty good fight for television. Seeing the Supermans go after each other like that, I thought that seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, it was just a good version of this particular part of the show. I mean, you have so many different versions of it. This one here was really nice. It was clean. And it just carried on from there, which, I liked it.
Okay, I'm going to get more back on this Superman in a little bit. Let me talk briefly a little bit, or let me ask a little bit. Now, of course, we know that Hoechlin and the actress who plays his wife, they're getting their own series coming up, okay? They officially said it's going to series, so they're coming back into it. I'm still not sold on this Lois Lane, this actress as Lois Lane. Something about her, I think it's maybe the fact that it is an Arrowverse Lois Lane. And Arrowverse has always got that little dash of cheesiness to it, and that's how her character is supposed to play. But it's not sitting right with me. What do you think of this Lois Lane? Do you have any concerns about her? Maybe even going to her own show at all, or?
Truthfully, I haven't really paid too much attention to her. I'm not gonna lie. That's right. I mean, with the way Superman comes in and her little parts throughout the Arrowverse. I mean, you catch maybe, I think in all the Arrowverse shows, she maybe has 30 minutes tops in everything put together. Yeah. And so you don't really get too much information from her. You don't get too much, personality from her. I mean, you get a little bit of it, but it's like, well, where's the rest of it?
Yeah.
So that's the only issue I have, and once the series comes out, obviously there's going to be a lot more to it.
Okay,
but
I'm
now,
going to talk about that in a minute, because I got more to say about that too. Continue with cameos. You got Jonah Hex in just a small cameo in there. You also got Huntress from the original Birds of Prey TV series, and then of course you had Lucifer, played by Tom Ellis, have his brief cameo from Earth 666. I wonder how they got that name. Do you watch Lucifer at all?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. So, again, I watched the first episode of Lucifer when it came out, and I did not like it. My main issue with it, and of course, you're probably going to debate me on this, is Lucifer, the devil, okay? He is supposed to be the most evil thing imaginable. This guy's a con man, okay? And he's kind of like, just, he has his own show. He's kind of a nice guy, kind of deep down below. I'm like, no, that's not the fucking devil. No. So I couldn't get my head wrapped around the concept. But what do you think about the show, and what do you think about the cameo?
I love the cameo, the way that Constantine's like, oh, hey, I know a guy that can get us down to hell or whatever. Like, that was awesome. To me, this was a nice little throw in there, obviously, because I am a fan of the Lucifer show. I mean, obviously, we all know, the devil is not, everybody has their own, per se, version of the devil.
Okay.
So, with this, I mean, it's just giving a different look upon him, because, he was the first angel to love God so much, and this and that, he fell. And that's what they're trying to play off of, and just kind of carry that with all that love and everything to it.
Okay, so what am I missing here? Because again, like I said, when I think the devil, I have an image of what I think. So why should I be interested in this rendition of the character, compared to what I have in my mind?
Pretty much, he's just taking a vacation from hell. It's basically what it is. He even says it in the thing. He was tired of torturing people day in, day out, so he's like, I just need a vacation. So he went up there and stayed up there.
But in the show, he helps people, right?
Not necessarily. What he's trying to make the woman cop fall in love with him, and through that whole process, he starts caring for her, and that's where his love starts coming. And then you have the whole underworld that thinks that he's going soft, so he has to kill a whole bunch of people again. So he's not necessarily good, but at the same time, when he is around this woman, for some reason, his body is not immune to knives, gunshots, or anything like that. So it makes him vulnerable. It makes him vulnerable. So he's trying to figure out why this one person is causing him to be this way.
Okay.
And that's what intrigued me. It's like, okay, well, let me see what happens here.
Do we figure it out? Is she something special or something yet, or no?
We have not.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing.
But they got one more season, right?
This is the last season for it. So hopefully, the only part we know is that so far she has a little bit of angel in her. Okay. That's the only part we know so far. And it's like, okay, well, let's get the rest of it. So that's why when season 4 comes out, we're all looking. Yeah. This is supposed to be the last season for it on Netflix. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, I know it has a good big following because I've heard people talk about it. I know a lot of people that enjoy it. But I just, again, wrapping my head around the concept of what this Lucifer is compared to what I think he should be is a little
much. And the character you would like would be played by Amy Garcia. She's the little forensic scientist.
Okay.
And she's basically geeked out nerd. So and she lets it be known throughout the whole thing. So but she doesn't come in until season 3.
Isn't it one of those things? Isn't it a staple in every show about kind of superheroes or a geek-based show? You have to have a geek in there.
Oh yeah,
I mean, especially definitely. In the Arrowverse. The Arrowverse, okay, you had Felicity for Arrow. You have Cisco for Flash. You have Wynn for Supergirl. Legends, you have Ray and what's his name, Captain Steel, in there. They're kind of geeks. Black Lightning, I don't think you have anybody for Black Lightning though, who's kind of a geek. But anyway, yeah, I feel like that's a crux where you have to have that insider person who you're watching a show that geeks are gonna love. So let's put a geek in there to help relate or something like
definitely.
That. So okay, all right. So another big cameo. We had John Wesley Shipp back as the Flash from Earth 90, or from the 90s Flash series, and they even for a little while there you heard a little bit of the music of the Flash theme in there. John Wesley Shipp, no stranger to the Arrowverse. He played Henry Allen, then he played Jay Garrick, then of course he came back and played Flash last year in Elseworlds. We saw him again in this one. So this I have a little bit of issue with. But I'm going to go ahead and let you talk first about how you feel about how it all went down with the Flashes and the Flash dying.
I hated it.
Yes! Thank you.
I mean, we're getting told throughout the whole year that Barry Allen's going to die.
Not even that, since the very beginning of the series.
Exactly. Flash is going to die. Barry Allen's going to die. That's what the whole focus of in the Time Vault was, so we're expecting him to die. When the Monitor says, hey, you're going to die during this crisis, we're expecting him to die. And then they show John Wesley on there, and it's like, okay, well, what's his purpose on there? And it's like, well, that was stupid.
Well, I figured, too, as soon as they showed him on the treadmill, I was like, oh, God, they're going to do a switch, aren't they? The Flash is going to die, but it's not going to be Grant Gustin's Barry, because Lord forbid, they change up the show or do something risky.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I would have loved to have seen, him go away and the show continue, like I said, with Wally West, and it would completely give a different feel to the show, make it progress a little bit, but I knew it wasn't going to happen because it's too much of a risk, especially since The Flash is going to be, or is the flagship, show now of the Arrowverse, since Arrow's going away too. So I understand, but again, I'm just disappointed they didn't take the risk with it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it was just like, well, damn. I thought he was going to die.
It was the whole build-up. The whole build-up for the entire series has been about that moment, and it went flaccid.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was horrible. So, yeah, I mean, they copped out. I liked, John Wesley Shipp as the Flash in it. I get it. Maybe if they should have, because the last time we saw him was last year in Elseworlds. Mm-hmm. It would have been a much more impactful moment if we would have seen him more maybe throughout the season, got to know the character a little more, something like that too.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then at the same time, Black Lightning finally enters the Arrowverse officially, because for this whole time of the couple seasons of Black Lightning, we weren't quite sure where he fell in the Arrowverse. We assumed he was on a different Earth like Supergirl. He comes in, Harbinger brings him in. No. Is that his name? Not Harbinger. No, it's Pariah. Pariah. Okay, that's who the new Wells was Pariah, and that he brings him in to help with the whole machine and the Flash scenario and all that stuff too. Again, just looking at it a whole, Cress Williams' character, Black Lightning, didn't do a lot. I mean, I think he was there just to be brought into the fold. At the end of the crossover, we see that, he's in there. He's part of the Justice League now. He's going to be more into it. I get it. I thought his interactions with Barry, Grant Gustin, were good, though. Mm-hmm. I can see like a friendship developing between the two of them there. So, he did okay. What did you think about him in this crossover as far as what little we got of him?
I mean, I think he did okay. I wish we would have had more of him in there. I mean, he does great in the show for Black Lightning, bringing him into the crossover. I mean, I really would have loved seeing him do a lot more than just try to control some machine.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did okay, and now it's just a matter of how they're going to carry him over.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting, of course, how they're going to carry it all together over. Because one of my questions too is, okay, they've merged all the Arrowverse shows together. There's no multiple Earths as among the Arrowverse, so they're all together. But it seems like all the heroes from each Earth survived. So who, you can't merge multiple universes together and have everyone come over. Like Joe Blow from every different Earth can't come over because then guess what? Overpopulation. Everyone would be scattered across the entire globe. You can't do that. So there are people that shouldn't have survived, I guess, is what it is. Unless they took, multiple people like Joe Blow. There were multiple Joe Blows and just combined them into one. I don't know. That's kind of, out there.
Yeah.
A little bit too much thinking, I guess, in my opinion. But it just seemed a little too happy for me that everyone, when everything was merged together, everyone seemed to have everyone they wanted in there.
Mm-hmm.
However, though, one of my big, things was the last two parters, especially when it all crossed over, they all merged into one. We didn't see Iris again. And, Iris and Barry, their relationship, was a crux for many, many years on The Flash, but also in crossovers with Earth X and Elseworlds, too. I found it very surprising they didn't, at the end, even at the end when they were at Star Labs, it was Barry and Caitlin there. I'm like, I feel like, Iris should have shown up again to show how relieved she was that Barry was still alive, or something like that. At least.
Yeah, I feel like they're waiting for the individual series to show
Possibly.
all the little backlash from, Crisis. Because even now, now that everybody's put together, you saw Supergirl and Flash meet up and they're like, oh, this is my guy. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm on my Earth. No, this is my Earth. No, this is my Earth. And then, of course, in that scene, you got the cameo from Marv Wolfman, who was the writer of Crisis on Infinite Earths, too. So that was a nice little cameo there. All right. Next up, cameo-wise, we had the Spectres show up in Purgatory and turn Oliver Queen into the next Spectre. I want to save that for main character talk a little bit. But with that, of course, it was weird he popped up because we'd never seen this character at all in the other Arrowverse shows, right?
No,
this is the first. Yeah, this is the first time he popped up in Purgatory. He was in maybe 2 minutes and then he was gone. So his whole purpose was there just to be like, hey, I'm the Spectre. Oliver, you're now the Spectre. Bye.
Pretty much is
what it was. So let's see here. Keep moving on. Okay. You want to go to the big one?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
big
do it.
one. Ezra Miller as the Flash from the DCEU. So rumor has it that this one was added after everything was shot. The president, I think, of Warner Brothers or something, actually requested this, is what happened. And so they brought Ezra Miller in to, guest star for 2 minutes to meet up with Grant Gustin's Flash. To me, the scene itself was the epitome of what exactly Crisis on Infinite Earths was, which was fan service of seeing all these, characters from across multiple DC properties come together and just be like, hi, bye. It's kind of a wave. But to me, this scene, there's a lot to dissect in this scene from a standpoint of, to me, mainly the status of the DCEU. Mm-hmm. I mean, because the Flash movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The one starring Ezra Miller. And it's got so many directors that's come and gone. It's got so many writers that's come and gone. And honestly, there was a while where, in my mind, I don't think whenever a Flash movie does come out, I don't think Ezra Miller's going to star in it. That was my mindset I had started to believe about it. And now, the fact that not only, is we see Ezra Miller here, but that he still seems very enthusiastic about playing the character. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is still all in on the Flash movie. Maybe, he will be the Flash, even though the rest of the DCEU, in my eyes, is falling apart. I mean, Ben Affleck's gone, Henry Cavill's all but gone. Wonder Woman's the only thing that you're sticking around for. But just the status it says about the Flash movie is really, to me, what this scene, the main part of it was. Do you think I'm on the right track, or do you think I'm just jumping to conclusions here?
No, most definitely. I mean, obviously, with the Flash movie, we all expected it to come out. Mm-hmm. I mean, now, they're supposedly set on a director, and now filming's supposed to be starting later on this year, and it's supposed to be coming out in 2022.
But we've heard about this so much, though.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, but seeing this scene kind of brought everything together. I love the part where he's like, who are you? Who are you? And then he's like, oh, I'm Barry from this universe. He's like, universe? Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, oh, you don't know. And he's like, oh, I told Victor this was.
Yeah, I told Victor it's possible. Yeah.
I was like, dang. I was like, okay. So now I'm interested in seeing what they do with the DCEU, just because of this scene here.
So do you think do you think we're reading too much into it? Was it just a little fun cameo that Warner Brothers wanted to throw in there? Or do you think it's like, hey, yes, Ezra Miller is still doing The Flash. We're still moving forward. I mean, do you think...
I feel like it's a little bit of both. Okay. It's just, obviously the fan, when we saw that, everybody was probably like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But now, once we see that, our mind automatically goes to, are they still making the Flash movie?
Exactly. It's like, if things were different, if like I said, it was Ben Affleck had already decided or not to be Batman a year before, they actually announced that he was no longer Batman. So if Ezra Miller, wasn't going to be the Flash, why would they put this cameo in there? So it makes me think that relations between him and Warner Brothers, or his role as playing future Flashes, are, secure. The scene itself, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you right now, this solidifies my idea that Grant Gustin is a much better Barry Allen than what Ezra Miller was. Because when you look at the two characters, when I watched Justice League, the movie, and Ezra Miller's playing Barry Allen, I'm like, for a Barry Allen, he acts a lot like Wally West. Whereas Grant Gustin acts like Barry Allen in, you would expect him from reading the comics. So to me, I was looking at this scene and kind of, seeing how they were both acting, and it's totally like Barry Allen's Grant Gustin, and Ezra Miller's acting like, a kid Wally West or something. So it was just, one of those things where I'm like, again, it kind of proves that I'm not a big fan of... I like Ezra Miller as the Flash. Saying he's Barry Allen, though, I have a bit of a problem with, because that's not Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And of course, in the scene, too, where, he's like, I'm the Flash. You're the who? And he's like, oh, that's a cool name.
Exactly.
Because, again, in the Justice League movie, you never actually heard him give himself the name The Flash.
Exactly.
So now he does have the name Flash. But it would be totally awesome if they ever get around to the Flash movie, he references how he got his name when he's at a multiverse of himself. Boom! Mind blown on that one. So that was kind of the really big cameo. Okay, before I get to the ending, with all the different multiverses, I just want to jump over and let's talk about some of the main characters and what happened to them in this crisis, so to speak. And of course, let's start off with Oliver Queen. I would say this 5-part crossover, and people have thought about this too, where they compare it to, say, Marvel's Endgame. Comparing it to, like, say, what it will do as far as affecting the rest of the universe going forward, I think is a good comparison.
Oh, easily.
I had no idea they were going to literally pluck out story ideas from Endgame on this. I mean, instead of going back in time, they traveled through memories, okay? Then you have your main headline star, your human, be the one to actually change everything and actually set everything right. I liked the way they ended the story, though, Arrow's probably, they got 2 more episodes I think of Arrow, and really from what it seems it's just going to be 2 episodes where they're trying to set up the spin-off series with Mia and the Black Canary. So totally on that. Since there's only 2 episodes, I'll probably actually watch those, but I won't continue the rest of the Arrowverse episodes. I'm going to wait for Netflix. But yeah, the way they ended Oliver Queen's storyline I thought was very fine. I liked the way they ended the character. Yeah, I was totally okay with how he was treated and what was done with it. Yeah. Being the fact that he sacrificed himself to end it all, to destroy the Anti-Monitor, even though he really didn't destroy the Anti-Monitor, but, save everyone, so to speak. Of course, our number 2, our Barry Allen. What he learned from this whole experience, I don't know exactly. Oliver was talking to him about, the real heroes are the ones that go on and survive. Not sure, because Barry Allen's whole thing was he was supposed to save everyone by dying, and he didn't die. So maybe going forward in Flash they can kind of talk about it, because I know in the previews for the upcoming Flash episodes there's a little preview about Iris, about how she's been preparing for life after Crisis or life without Barry, which I think will be interesting. But now I'm curious about Barry and how he feels about how, the whole thing, ever since he became the Flash almost, this is the moment he's been looking at, and now it's gone, so what does he do now? That's something I hope they explore. We'll see what the Arrowverse does, though.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what they do with him, because, there's different things to come about, because, we all know in the DC comics, Barry Allen does die because he runs so fast he basically disintegrates.
Yes.
So it's a matter of, okay, that's one way they're going to end the season or end the show. I mean, if you don't end the show that way, you're stupid.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of figuring out where they're going from here.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, with that. Okay. Supergirl, you know, her world got disintegrated for a while, but it's back now. So yay. I don't know what happened to Argo City. I'm pretty sure those people are dead because they don't want to deal with it. So there's that. But again, she's in with all the characters now, much like how Black Lightning's in there. The two that were separated, they're in there now. What's her name? What's her name of her city she's in? It's not
Gotham City.
No. The city that she's in. She's in because there's Central City, Star City. What's the name of her city? I want to say Argo, but that's the name of the planet for the Kryptonians. Whatever. Anyway, her city is now part of Earth Prime, so to speak. And again, I think the thing that's most exciting for me is since everyone's together now, how are they going to go forward? Because given the fact that in the comics, you can have characters pop in and out of books very easily, I don't know if it's going to be as easily done in, the shows due to, actors, contracts, and stuff like that, and shooting schedules as well. But putting them all together like this, you would think that if a crisis of massive proportion, happens, that the Flash would come help out Supergirl, or Black Lightning would help out the Legends, or something like that, which I would love to see, because that's what happens in the comic books.
Yeah.
But, again, I think it's going to be a little more difficult in a television series to do that. So, again, Black Lightning, we don't know. He was so little in this crossover in my eyes as far as how it'll affect him going forward. We have to see, I guess, again, who survived, what the outcome was, because what is it? It's just those 7 or 8 heroes who really know what happened, right? Like, I'm not sure.
It's only them.
Yeah, exactly. So they know that the old reality, where everyone else knows just the new reality. So again, it's about what happened, what are they going to do going forward, are they going to change history, all that stuff put together. And I'm hoping they're going to answer some of those questions going forward with the shows individually.
Most definitely, because my biggest thing is right now is, are we going to finally see Lex Luthor become the president of the United States?
Well, he was in the Smallville universe, but yes. I mean, again, in this new world, he seems to be very, celebrated.
Yeah.
In this one.
That's why I'm curious to see what happens.
I think, which, by the way, I got to say, I said this before, I like Sean Cryer's Lex Luthor, too.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure about it, but, seeing him up there, I really liked the way he does Lex Luthor, so it's really cool. Batwoman, I don't give a crap. What do you think going forward this will have effect on Batwoman, if at all?
Truthfully, I don't think this is going to affect anything on her, because she's still doing her own storyline and everything, so I highly doubt they'll probably talk about Crisis, but they're not going to go into depth about it. It's going to be more of trying to figure out her storyline still.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to continue. They're still dealing with their thing with Alice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so there's that. Which I did like the little joke. What was it? She came on over, and, it was Brainiac 5, I think, that made the joke, where she was like, that rabbit was about to talk, and Brainiac 5 was like, this one thinks she talks to rabbits. Little jokes like that. And Legends is coming back. They haven't had an episode this season. It was kind of their first appearance in this one. We'll see what they do, obviously. We'll see how they're affected and going forward. Again, it's all just a question of, everything's merged together. Only our heroes remember it. So what is the reality that we have now, and what has happened as far as expectations? Honestly, I don't think a lot has changed. I think, all the main characters, characters we see from the other shows, are all still going to be there. I would be very surprised if there are any characters that we see on the shows on a regular basis that are no longer there.
Yeah.
I think it should, but I doubt they'll do that. So, all right. Well, let's skip to the ending. I want to talk, before we get again to the world, I want to talk about the Justice League. Finally formed the Justice League. The warehouse that Barry found, the old Star Labs warehouse, was teased several seasons ago when they did the Invasion one, and they were training and you knew that was going to be the future home of the Hall of Justice. So on our Justice League, we have Flash, Supergirl, Superman, Black Lightning, White Canary, Batwoman, and Martian Manhunter.
And we also have Superman.
I said Superman. Okay. I said Supergirl and Superman. Okay. So, okay. So, here's what I thought when I immediately saw this lineup. I'm like, okay, so literally you're just taking the stars of each show and then Martian Manhunter. Yeah. Is what it is. Because, remember, Superman's getting his own show, too, next season. So, these are all just the main characters from all the shows with Martian Manhunter in there. Are they trying to say something about Manhunter? I don't think so, but you can speculate on that if you will. The other thing I thought was this lineup sucks.
I mean, it's...
I was like, okay, you got Superman, Flash, okay, Black Lightning, okay, I'll get that, Martian Manhunter, I'm sorry, but...
It's just like a filler. I mean...
Yeah, and like you said, these are all just the main characters from the show, is what it is.
Yeah, because, now that we have... Because we don't know what they're going to do with Stargirl when that comes out.
Well, we do kind of, from the cameos, actually, because they tease it's Earth 2.
Yes.
Even though, it's going to be on the CW, at the end it says Earth 2 on there.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so Justice League, yes.
So, there's so many other superheroes that they're showing out there. Now, are they trying to bring all of them into the Arrowverse? Is the main question.
Yeah.
So, obviously... the table has room for growth, but at the same time, are y'all really gonna invest that much time into, instead of creating the cinematic universe, y'all want to just create the regular universe in series, and which is okay. I would love that.
Yeah, you can keep them separate too, but yes.
But it's okay, you have all the DC fans that are looking at this holy shit. Now, are we going to see Wonder Woman? Are we going to see Aquaman? Are we going to see Aqualad?
No.
Are we going to see any of these people?
They're too featured in the movies right now because obviously all these heroes. The only one they've sidelined Superman in the movies. Okay, he's getting his own show, which makes you think that they're going to focus more on TV Superman, which I think is a mistake. But they're only out of all these characters. The only one that's even thinking about getting their own movie is Flash, and that's Lord knows if it's still coming because we've been waiting fucking 5 years for it and more. So these are all heroes that they have no plans, I think, up on the big screen. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all big hits on the big screen, so I don't think you're going to see anything close to the characters. I would love to see it even at an Aqualad or something like that, or a Donna Troy, but I think they're dealing with more with those characters in Titans is where you're going to see that. Okay, so let's just jump to it. At the end, the multiverse was allegedly over. But then we come to find out that there are other multiverses still available. There's Earth 2, which look like is going to feature the upcoming Stargirl show and the JSA. Cool. Thing about that is there's other characters, like we saw the list of the characters, or showed them, key members that are missing. Jay Garrick the Flash, or Alan... Oh, what's his name? The original Green Lantern. I can't forget his name. But anyway, those two main characters, they're not in this shot, which kind of bums me out. But wouldn't it be cool? Because, Jay Garrick, played by John Wesley Shipp, is, Flash in Earth 2. Bring him into Stargirl. Yeah. That would be cool, right? That would be awesome to do. We saw Earth 12 with the Green Lanterns. This was all footage from the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. So... what are they trying to say there? Are they trying to set us up for the Green Lantern show that's coming to HBO Max? Or are they just trying to say that, hey, maybe the Green Lanterns will continue in movies as well? That's a question mark. What do you think of that one?
And that's where I'm trying to figure it out, because obviously they're going Green Lantern on HBO Max, but they can also go in the movies. With them showing the crossover between the movies and Titans on the CW, they're showing that all these multi-universes can incorporate into each other. So my question is, are they going to run with what they have and just blend everybody into all these different shows to where you have to watch HBO Max, to where you have to watch...
I don't think so.
CW, to where you have to watch... to incorporate it in because there's so many different ways that you can go with it now that they're kind of teasing that they're going to do all these different things.
I think they just kind of ended it all where it's like, okay, yes, all the Arrowverse shows are now one, but just so you don't get any ideas, yes, the DC Universe shows are still separate. Yes, the movies are still separate. Yes, Swamp Thing is still separate or whatever. That's what I got from it. Again, the Green Lantern, I think the tease for here was that maybe they are going to, setting up the Green Lantern TV series that's coming to HBO Max, because to me everything else seemed like it was all TV stuff. Even Swamp Thing from Earth 19 or Titans from Earth 9 or Doom Patrol from Earth 21, these were all TV series. We didn't see Ezra Miller back in the DCEU to tease that whole multiverse as well. These are all my feelings as far as TV multi-universes that are still out there, which again, when I saw the Green Lantern one, I thought, are they hinting at the Green Lantern series that is to come? Maybe. We'll see. I thought it was weird, though, they did put in the Swamp Thing one because Swamp Thing got canceled. They're not doing any more Swamp Thing, to my knowledge. Again, are they trying to tell us something? Are they trying to tell us maybe Swamp Thing has been saved? Maybe picked up by HBO Max? I don't know. Maybe they're just teasing us all around, just for little cameos. The big one, though, this is the one I want to talk about, too, was we saw Brandon Routh back as Superman. He's not in the Kingdom Come outfit, though. He's in more of a traditional Superman outfit. And again, talking about this again, all these multiverses that are still around, Titans, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, are they teasing Brandon Routh Superman series or something more with Brandon Routh as Superman? What do you think?
I hope so. I mean, it'll be awesome to see it that way. But as far as I understand right now, they're not doing anything with a Brandon Routh.
No.
And it's.
But he's leaving. He is leaving
the
Legends. Yes.
He is leaving Legends.
Now, why is he leaving Legends? Why?
There's a lot. Maybe
this is it.
Maybe it is. Maybe he's going to do more cameos as Superman, to where they're going to start playing in with the Superman series, but not necessarily give him the series. Most of all the different things that we're seeing now on the Arrowverse are following the animated movies in a sense. So, I mean, we had all those different Supermans in the last animated Superman movie. Why not put that in live action?
Yeah, I just think, again, it goes back to, I don't hate Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, but compared to everyone else, especially, again, when you stacked him and put him right beside Brandon Routh as Superman in this crossover, he seems so pathetic compared to it. And that was, he was in the background just like mumbling to himself while Supergirl was getting all the play. And I'm like, I get it. Supergirl's one of the main three of the Arrowverse. I get it, but God, the way he was treated, I just, if Batman was treated like that, you would be pissed off, man.
True.
Exactly. So I would, again, my hope is that they are teasing more with Brandon Routh as Superman, because, I mean, look at the shot. Look at the shot of him in space. Doesn't that look awesome? Don't you want to see more of that? Come on, okay? But the last cameo, of course, was Gleek, and people were wondering what that was. I heard somebody ask if it was Detective Chimp. I'm like, no, Gleek is a reference to the Super Friends 70s show and a reference to the Wonder Twins. And some people are thinking this is kind of a hint that they're going to bring in the Wonder Twins in the Arrowverse or something along those lines, which is, I could see happening. The Wonder Twins, they actually got a new comic book last year too, so something that could be coming up that you might want to play with on that, although I don't really want to see Gleek, the superhero chimp, in live action because he's just ridiculous to boot. So there you have that. And that is Crisis on Infinite Earths. Again, I think we've covered cameos, we've covered storylines. I don't know what else there is to cover except, again, just general thoughts. I thought it was there are things I really liked about it. There was a lot of fan service to it with all the cameos that really didn't do anything. Overall, again, I think it's just a way to... The big thing is that it brought everything together, which is what I wanted it to do. So in that sense, I am satisfied with it. What are your thoughts?
I liked it. I mean, obviously, we could have did without some of the cameos because they didn't serve any purpose other than looking into a red sky.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the way they ended Stephen Amell's character as Oliver Queen, I think he couldn't have did it any better
I think
than
he did a really good job. Yeah,
that was the best way to do it. Obviously, there are a lot of different questions with Lex Luthor and all this stuff.
Yeah, in reality, they're going to answer them in individual shows.
Exactly. So, I mean, as far as the show, the Crisis itself, I think it was okay. I believe it could have been a lot better, but I mean, then again, everything can be better.
All right, guys. Well, it's time for you to fire back. Of course, let us know what you think about Crisis on Infinite Earths. Rank your crossovers too. Where would this fall in your crossovers as far as your favorites? Because I'll go. I mean, if we go back, let's go back to.
Truthfully, I'd have to put it probably Earth X.
Earth X. I like it better than Elseworlds.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And then Invasion.
Invasion was just. It was just Invasion. It didn't really do anything.
I felt about Invasion the same way I feel about Elseworlds, where I liked the first 1 or 2 episodes, and then I didn't like the last 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah. So, but I'll put this probably second behind Crisis on Earth X as far as crossovers for me. So, but yeah, let us know what you guys think about this crossover. Where's it fall to you? What do you think about the cameos, the storyline? What was your favorite cameo? Fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let's talk about it. I might put a poll up too. Actually, we'll see what their favorite cameo was. Like, have people do that as well. And then, of course, you can always hop on to YouTube and iTunes. Like, dislike, rate, review, comment, join in the discussion, guys. And that's going to be it. I want to thank Jaime for coming in and talking Crisis, of course.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Of course, you're always good to talk Arrowverse, which I enjoy, especially since I have fallen behind now. It's the commercials, man. I hate the fucking commercials is what gets me because I don't have cable. I don't have a DVR, so I got to sit through the commercials, and I hate it. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to get back to the Arrowverse until it pops up on Netflix and I can just, watch it all at once without commercials. Yeah. So, but you're going to continue, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Well, if I have any questions, I'll follow you guys. But that's it, guys. Go out, enjoy your day, enjoy your week. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.